Friends, good evening and welcome to Banff National Park, located here in the Canadian Rockies. This, in my opinion, is the most beautiful place in all of Canada. I'm so thrilled to be back here again, but on a very different type of trip. I'm going to be going on a 6-day horse trekking adventure in the backcountry of this gorgeous national park here in Canada, and I invite you to join me. So you can think of this as your Banff adventure travel guide. What I'm going to be showing you is everything that I get up to over these 6 days. You're going to see all of the horse treks. You're going to see all of the unique accommodations we stay at. Some of them are lodges that have been in operation for over 100 years. I'm going to show you all of the meals, the outhouses, and everything else in between. It's going to be an epic adventure. You've probably never seen this side of Banff National Park, so I invite you to hop in the saddle along with me, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. Friends, it has been a while since I've been on a horse. That was a nice about 2.5 hour ride. Very easy terrain, beautiful scenery. I didn't get too many shots because it was raining quite a bit, but here we are at Healy's Creek. We're gonna be having lunch here. And yeah, just a great introduction to the trip because we started off really easy and I've definitely built up an appetite. So let's chow down on some food. And guys, lunch was fantastic. I forgot how much I work up an appetite when I ride a horse. Maybe it's just, nervousness or not being on it very often, but my goodness, that was a good meal. We had steak, we had potato salad, cowboy coffee, and a cookie to round it out. And my goodness, that cookie had 500 calories, so I am good until dinner. All right, Hollywood, here's how we become best friends. Hollywood. So I wanted to introduce you to my horse, Hollywood. He's one of the quirkiest boys around. You know what? He loves to do his own thing, but I gotta respect that. Apparently he's 16 to 18 years old, and the guide said there isn't a trail he hasn't brought someone back from. So he's a very reliable horse, just has a mind of his own.
Allenby Pass, Petite Pass.
Okay, just like that. So where are you taking me? Oh. Okay, there we go. Good boy, good boy. Such a good boy. Woo! My goodness, what a day. We have finally made it to the Sundance Lodge, and it is a sight to behold. Epic lodge behind us. That one there was built in the 1980s, completed in the 1990s, and that's where we're going to be staying tonight. I'm excited to give you a brief tour. And right beside it is the 10 Mile Lodge, and that one was built in 1923. It's no longer in use, but it used to be where the cooks and cleaners would stay, and there's a lot of history and heritage with that particular building. And yeah, it's just so amazing to be here. It's a combination of rustic and luxury out here in the Canadian Rockies. And before I forget, fun little fact, there are about 75 resident marmots here. And apparently they've taken over the old cabin, the 10 Mile Lodge. And if we're not careful enough, they will come right into our new one. So we've been asked to close the door so they don't come racing in. That's pretty hilarious if you ask me. And guys, we're cowboys over here, meaning we do not go in wearing our cowboy boots. They remain outside, and for proper etiquette, you should also take off your hat as well. Alrighty, time to hang up my cowboy hat, and I'm going to give you a quick room tour. Now, the rooms are being shared. I'm bunking with a cool friend that I just met. We have bunk beds, and here's the bigger bed. Yeah, I mean, after a day like today, you're just going to be wanting to rest and relax, have a nice dinner, and I think we're all going to have a really good sleep tonight. So friends, I wanted to talk about the second half of the riding today, after lunch. So we traded in the introductory route for backcountry, and that just meant everything was instantly more epic. We had those serpentine paths that led up the mountain. We had creek crossings. We had all kinds of dense forests. So there was just so many different diverse landscapes that we traversed. And it was honestly a tremendous introduction to this 6-day experience. To be honest, this isn't even going to be the best day, and already this is one of my favorite horse treks that I've ever done, so we're in for a real treat. Anyways, we just arrived, we're tired, we're gonna go check out the lodge. My legs totally feel like jello. Like when I got off that horse, I was just like wobbling, like I'm like, my goodness. I can't wait to just stretch out by the fireplace and chill out for a bit. So I gave you a tour of the room. In terms of the rest of the lodge, there are 2 favorite spots that I really want to highlight. Number 1, the fireplace. That is where everyone gathers, has a drink, stretches out their legs, and relaxes. There's also board games. It's the most social place. And then finally, there is the log table, which is in the kitchen room. And that is, of course, where everyone comes and enjoys communal dining. So the lodge really facilitates that kind of community spirit. And apparently, there is the very best lookout point after this little hike. People have said you haven't officially settled into the lodge until you've done this hike, so I'm doing it. Let's push forward and have one more epic view. Well, that little mini hike was definitely worth it, guys. My goodness, what a perspective from up there. You really see how deep you are in the valley, and you get such a great view of the lodge, all of the surrounding mountains and everything else. Definitely worth hiking up. And here we are at the stables of the Sundance Lodge. This is where all the unsung heroes rest and recover from the day. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the horses, of course. They have done all the work to get us here, and they deserve all of the rest and attention that they get. Also probably just the most peaceful place on the property. And well, friends, that is a wrap for day 1. So we finished off with a really nice supper. Soup, salad, salmon as the main course, rice, garlic bread, and then a cupcake with cream cheese. I mean, that's really decadent. I'm so full, so stuffed. I'm really wiped, to be honest. When you haven't been on a horse for a long time, and then you've been riding for like 4 or 5 hours, it does take a lot out of you. So I'm gonna call it an early night, but we've got a beautiful mountain sunset happening at the moment. So here are some really nice views of the lodge. And yeah, in the morning we'll be starting fresh and heading off to new territory. Good morning, friends. Today is the start of day 2, and my goodness, I had a great sleep last night. I must have gone to bed around 9:30 or 10 and more or less slept through the night. Got up at 7, just finished having breakfast. We had potatoes, eggs, bacon, and also homemade chocolate chip muffins. So starting the day off right, and we're really lucky with the weather being nice today, because apparently it's going to be one of the nicest horse rides of the entire 6-day experience. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait to get out there and witness some spectacular scenery today. Day 2 of riding, friends. We have officially arrived at our lunch stop. What an adventure again today. We had a beautiful ride this morning, went through all kinds of different terrain, started off in a creek, went through some different valley passes, lots of dense forest, and there was some adventure that happened. 3 of our horses got stung by hornets along the way, and unfortunately mine did too. So Hollywood got stung. Hollywood was swinging his head like a pendulum, and it was hard to keep him focused and moving forward, but we did. Anyways, on day 2, the views have been even more epic. More mountain ranges, more creek crossings. Some of the highlights included passing by a Turtle Tom's rustic cabin, which is now just a few remnants. dates back to the CP Rail days, the adventurous times. And apparently he was a colorful character, being that isolated out in the woods. He would mistake the white rocks for turtles and try to sell them to guests. So yeah, quite the funny story. And now it's a landmark that can be visited on the horse trek. Well, that was another delicious lunch. This time today we had grilled burgers along with chips and Snapple. And for dessert, a coffee with hot chocolate. So yeah, in terms of the trip that we're doing today, it's a 16-kilometer horse trek. And now we're ready to resume the second half. Let's do it. We've just completed our second day of riding, and my goodness, was it worth it. I've now arrived at the halfway lodge. This is the most spectacular place I have ever stayed at in my entire life. Just mountain ranges spilling out in all direction. We're located in this beautiful part of the valley, and my goodness, you just feel like you're out in the backcountry in the middle of nowhere, and that's because you are. And so we're not just going to be here for one night. We've got 3 nights here. So I'll slowly be revealing this place to you over time. But my goodness, what an absolutely stunning location. And this is a very rustic and old cabin compared to the one we were staying at on the first night. And that's going to make it a little more charming and a little more interesting, in my opinion. So some of my favorite highlights from the second day of riding included the fact that we gained quite a bit of elevation. We got much closer to the mountains, and we also visited some really fascinating places along the way, such as the rock forest. We are now into the deep country, into the most spectacular part of the Canadian Rocky Mountains here in Banff National Park, and I cannot wait to be exploring day after day for these next 3 days. This is what it's all about. Drenched. Didn't put on my rain jacket. Go down there. Look at it. Oh yeah. Look at that. What do you think? What do you think? Guys, I've only been here at the halfway lodge for approximately 20 minutes, but already I can tell you that I like it more than the Sundance Lodge. It is just more remote. The scenery is more spectacular. It's more rustic. Like, this feels like the adventure that I signed up for when I decided to come on this tour. So I'm so pumped to be here. And this place is just going to be a fantastic place to be based for the next 3 nights. All right, friends. So I told you I would show you some interesting features about staying here at this particular lodge. And the first one is the outhouse. Check this out. I've never seen an outhouse this cool before. Look at all of the different signs, slogans, jokes, whatever. Cowgirls do it too. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it. If at first you don't succeed, quit. No sense being a damn fool about it. Marry a cowboy. We need more of them. And over here on this property, we have ground squirrels, not marmots. So within the first 5 minutes of being here on the property, a cheeky little one just stood up like this and was posing for the camera. So I'm like, my goodness, they're funny. But the one thing that isn't funny is that there are a lot of holes. So if you don't stick to the path, you have to be very careful where you step. Otherwise, you could get your foot stuck in there and maybe twist an ankle or something like that. So be mindful of the ground squirrels here. They're a lot of fun, but watch where you're stepping. So here's what I'm talking about, guys. Here's the ground squirrel hole that kind of just appears out of nowhere. And another one. Ground squirrel holes. Don't step on them. Good morning, guys. It is day 3 here of our horse trekking adventure here in the Canadian Rockies, and I had the best sleep last night. Just woke up, it's past 7 o'clock, and I slept through the night. That was just the most peaceful place to have a really good rest. And today we are deciding between either going on a hike or horse trekking. We're not quite sure. The weather's definitely cooperating, so a decision will be made after breakfast. So in terms of what we did last night, we had the most epic, complete turkey meal. It was like turkey, gravy, potatoes, stuffing. It's like nothing was spared. Red wine was flowing. Great conversations were being had around the fireplace. This is going to be the most epic place to be based for a couple more days. And so it's time for some coffee, and then we're going to see what's happening. It's either hiking or horse trekking, and either of those options sounds really good today. Well, friends, I have had 3 cups of coffee, chocolate chip banana pancakes, scrambled eggs, and a pork chop. So I'm ready to start the day. And we are getting off early today. Today we are heading to the Allenby Pass, which is going to be the most challenging yet rewarding horse track we do on this entire trip. We're just heading straight up the mountain, pure elevation gain. Apparently it's going to be a 3-hour journey up there and then an hour and a half back, just to give you an example of how steep it is. But anyways, I'm feeling good, feeling ready for this. This is going to be probably the highlight of the entire trip in terms of views, and we have the most beautiful weather. But a storm is apparently going to be rolling around in the afternoon, so we're getting off early. Normally we leave closer to 10 o'clock, but we're going to be leaving just after 9 today. And yeah, I'm super pumped, so excited for this adventure. Mountains in the clouds, that's epic. Friends, if you've never been riding before and you're wondering what is it like to do a horse trek, I'm gonna tell you that today this was the most impressive ride we have done so far on this tour. Credit to the horses. We gained so much elevation within just the first few minutes of the ride that I remember 20 minutes into it, we were looking back down at our lodge and it looked like this tiny little speck. So yeah, the horses put in a tremendous amount of work. They were going through some difficult terrain. There was just tons of elevation gain, but credit to Banff Trail Riders for giving the horses tons of breaks, lots of water, and just treating the animals with the utmost respect. So once we got through the steepest parts, basically the vegetation stopped, and suddenly it was like being in a land before time. You just had these massive rocks coming out of nowhere and just otherworldly spectacular views. This is just the most epic horse ride I think you can do in all of Canada, and my gosh, we got the right weather today, we got the right conditions, and credit to the horses for putting in the massive effort to get us up to the top of the mountain. That is not easy. It'll be so much better on the way back down. In terms of our lunch today, it was just a do-it-yourself sandwich meal. We made the sandwiches before we saddled up, and aside from that, there was jerky and Snapple. So, and a granola bar too. So, yeah, a nice little picnic lunch up here, and we've got well over an hour to just explore and take in all the beauty. And my goodness, this is a stunning, stunning place here in Banff National Park. Totally worth the effort to get up here. So I promised you guys every day that I would show you something new and interesting at Halfway Lodge. And today, guys, we are gonna go check out the coolest, most rustic shower with possibly the best views you may have ever seen. Okay, voila, here we go. So open the door and check out what's in here. So basically there's a black mat, you come in here, right? And then you've got your you've got your place to hang up your clothes and your towel. Over here you've got hot and cold. And here is the rainforest shower that comes out. Soap, conditioner, body wash, and this is literally the view you have while you're showering. Take a look at this. Canadian Rocky Mountain freshness at its finest. So yeah, this shower is actually really good. The water pressure was excellent. The amount of hot water was great too. But something to keep in mind is they asked us to only have 5-minute showers because we are off grid, and that totally makes sense. So everyone's been really good about respecting that. But yeah, what a unique shower. And I'm now going to give you a room tour as well. So these are the rustic rooms that we're staying in. You can see as we enter into the room that, you know, it's very lived in. This is not us tidying up and showing you the room at its best. This is what it looks like when we have stuff all over the place. I'm bunking with a really cool Aussie mate, and yeah, we've had a really good time. We were also roommates in Sundance as well. So you can see we've got things all spread out, hanging up our hats, we've got our jackets. Same here, I'm drying out the shirts that I wore on the ride today. Over here we have bunk beds. I've chosen the lower bunk, and the top bunk is my storage area, and my Aussie buddy over here has the bigger bed. So yeah, we've had great sleeps here because, I mean, my gosh, like when you've been riding a horse for 4 or 5 hours, that takes a lot out of you. And then we've been having nice hearty meals in the evening, the beer's flowing, the wine's flowing. So yeah, just so comfortable. We usually end up going to bed around like 10 or 11, and then we're just out like a light. Don't wake up again until like 7 in the morning. So it's been fantastic, and really happy to get 2 more nights to sleep here. So friends, the last place for me to talk about in terms of the Halfway Lodge is the place where we spend the most time, and that is on the main floor. So you have, of course, you've got the rustic kitchen. You also have a dining table, a wood burning stove, and kind of a common area to hang out. That's all rolled into one cozy space. So what it does is it creates this really nice social environment where you want to sit around, stay warm, share food, share drinks, swap stories, and yeah, that's what we've been doing in the evenings especially. What's really fascinating about the lodge too is that it used to only be 1 floor. And apparently the story is, and you may not believe this, but there was a bear at one point in time that was on the roof that caused so much damage that they decided when they were going to do the repairs to actually build a 2nd level. And thank goodness they did, because otherwise we wouldn't have a place to sleep at night. Friends, dinner was delicious once again. We started off with appetizers of potato and leek soup, Caesar salad with bacon. Our main was chicken plus ravioli, and then for dessert we had a really decadent chocolate cake, and that was all washed down with quite a bit of wine. So we ate and drank really well, and I think we're gonna finish off the evening by hanging outside draped in a blanket. So that sounds pretty fun. Good morning friends. Today is day 4 of our Banff National Park adventure here. And as you can see behind me, the weather is a wee bit atmospheric today. It's wet, it's cold, and yes, it is raining. But you know what? Today is going to be an interesting day because the horses are getting a day off after that, you know, epic day of horse trekking yesterday. They're going to be resting up. But what we're planning to do is a hike nearby. So we're just huddling around the fireplace, drinking lots of coffee and preparing for our trip today. We're gonna go visit a lake that used to be called the No Name Lake. Now it is called Lake Matthias, named after an employee here at Banff Trail Riders. That's a bit of a funny story. Apparently he just posted a sign by the lake and it started to get recognized as that, you know, as Lake Matthias. So we're gonna try to get all the way out to there. Apparently the first 2/3 of the hike is pretty flat, and then the last 1/3 is like pure elevation gain. So we're gonna bundle up, go out there and see what we can do. And yeah, it's gonna be exciting to explore on foot today. It'll also be nice to rest the legs a little bit. You know, being on a horse for 3 days in a row, as a non-experienced rider, you do feel a little bit sore, so it'll be nice to stretch out the legs and go on a hike today. We did it. We actually went out, we braved the elements and did the trail. So the interesting thing about the trail is it doesn't have a name. There is no name for the waterfall you see at the halfway point, and there is no name for the epic lake that you reach if you're willing to go up the SFU. That stands for straight the double fudge up, and that is the trickiest part of the hike. Our entire group decided to do the whole hike, which was honestly the right decision. By the time we got up to the lake, the rain stopped just as we arrived, and we had the most amazing views. The lake reminded me a lot of some of the remote lakes I visited in Patagonia. It almost looks like the kind of place where you either have to go on a secret trail or you get like flown to by helicopter. It just had that kind of pristine and remote and totally untouched appearance. So yeah, spending time at the lake after that very steep climb was definitely the highlight of the entire hike. We had a chance to have a picnic lunch, stretch our legs, and a few of us actually scrambled up to some really nice vantage points, and it was just like, whoa, this place is so stunning, so epic. And truth be told, it was nice to be off the horse today. It is day 4, and I'm sure the horses really appreciated the break as well too. So overall, that was a really fun hiking experience, and yeah, I'm so glad we got the chance to do it.
Working women here. Yeah.
So a little bit of behind the scenes footage here at Halfway Lodge. The staff at Banff Trail Riders were kind enough to give us a little behind the scenes tour of how the horses are fed every day. 1 bag of food is enough for 3 horses. Of course, they had the day off today as we were hiking, and it's great to see them well fed and well rested, as we'll be doing a horse trek again tomorrow. Good morning friends. Today is the start of day 5 of our horse trekking adventure here in Banff National Park. And unfortunately, we're gonna be leaving the Halfway Lodge today. Everyone was joking around at breakfast saying like, please just let us stay one more day. I'm gonna intentionally hide my passport somewhere so I don't have to go. It just shows what kind of hospitality and warmth we experienced here from all of the staff and just getting along great. I just realized I forgot to talk about dinner last night, which was excellent. We had glazed ham and scalloped potatoes and maybe the most decadent dessert on the entire trip. It was a s'more bake. So imagine like this thick kind of like chocolate chip cookie with marshmallow melted on top. That was absolutely delicious. And we kicked things off this morning with French toast, maple syrup, and bacon. So we're well fed, we're ready to go, and we're heading back to Sundance today. So we're kind of hoping that the weather will clear up in the next hour. But if not, we just hop on the saddle and start making our way back. So what's going to be interesting about the horse track today is that we're going to see things from a different perspective heading back. And I think one of the really neat things is that we're hoping to stop by the warden's cabin along the way. So that's something to look forward to. But anyways, I've got to get packed up and start getting ready because we are going to be leaving very soon. Oh. Good afternoon, friends. We have made it back to the one and only Sundance Lodge. What a day of riding. My goodness. It was a lot of fun going back on the same trail from Halfway Lodge to Sundance Lodge. We stopped at the same lunch place. The highlight was a sandwich that we made. It included deli meat and extra bacon. So we came here, basically I took a nap for 30 minutes and then it was hot showers, our bags arrived. We're just gonna kick back, take it easy and have dinner tonight. But I'm really happy to be back here, and to spend the final night here at the Sundance Lodge is a little slice of luxury. Here's our marmot friend. Hi, marmot friend. And friends, dinner was once again delicious. We had brisket, we had Yorkshire pudding, we also had roasted potatoes and carrots, and the red wine was flowing, so another great meal. And for dessert, we had an apple crumble muffin. Honestly, the first time I've ever had that before. It was tasty. So yeah, basically the plan tonight is, it's our last night here. We're all gonna gather around, play some card games, and I can't think of a better thing to do.
Put your eyes on her ankles. And when you throw, down the wrist, baby. Get your juju. There you go.
There you go. Good morning, friends. It is absolutely crazy to think this is our final morning on the horse track. Time just flew by. I wish I had a couple more days. Everyone's saying the same thing. They're like, I don't want to go home. That's the sign of a good trip, isn't it? And started the morning off with another hearty breakfast, another warm breakfast as per usual. Had eggs, had pancakes drowned in syrup. Of course it was delicious. And last night was also a lot of fun too. We were playing this card game Spoons, and I sucked at it. It was my first time to play, so during the practice rounds I got eliminated 3 times in a row. But then the next game made it to the finals, and the final game right after that I ended up winning. So kind of went out on a high note. It was a really fun way to spend the final night, hanging out with everybody at the table, drinking, talking, and it got competitive. It's a fun competitive card game, mostly based on luck, not skill, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So now we're just packing up and getting ready for our final journey. We'll be riding back to Banff. So time to get packed up, and then we're gonna jump on the saddle. Well, friends, all good things come to an end, unfortunately. I just wanted to share a few thoughts about the adventure we had with Banff Trail Riders. To be perfectly honest, it's exactly the kind of experience that I needed to have this year at this particular moment in time. I just felt like I was in a little bit of a rut in some ways, and to be able to go out into nature, to go experience something adventurous, to do something that kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone, was really exactly what I needed. I mean, being on a horse for 6 days was a brand new experience for me. Previously, I think I had done maybe 3-day horse trekking adventures, and that was quite a while ago. So it was fascinating to have that experience of getting up and putting in about 5 hours of riding each and every day. Like, who is this adventure for? It's geared for really anybody. They've had people apparently anywhere between 9 to 80 going on this experience. And some of them have been first-time riders. But the thing I'll say is, you don't need to necessarily have a lot of riding skills to do this, but you need to have the right attitude, you need to have the sense of adventure, and you need to be willing to take instructions, because although these horses are really experienced, it's a long day of riding, and the terrain can be difficult, the weather can be a bit challenging, and also the horses are just like people. They have personalities, and some days they get spooked by something, and you know, you need to know how to react while you're on the horse. So the staff did an excellent job of keeping us safe and making sure that we all had a really good experience. In fact, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that because I've done a lot of tours over the years. I mean, Audrey and I have been working in tourism for 12, 13 years now. And we've done so many trips that we can honestly tell you, like, we know when people are just going through the motions, when they don't really like their job, when they're not very passionate. The thing about Banff Trail Riders is that everyone is very passionate about what they do. It starts with the owners and it extends all the way down to the staff. We were just treated so well the entire trip. From the packers to the guides to the cooks, it was just like an A+ experience. And I don't say that lightly because, to be honest, I have a fairly discerning eye at this point, and I just felt like we were just treated with so much respect. I thought it was also a really good group. Like, we had a really fun group. We all got a chance to bond. Being in the smaller, more rustic accommodations gave us the opportunity to get to know each other, to sit around the fireplace, to share stories, to laugh, to drink wine, to have a beer, all that kind of stuff. That was also one of the big highlights too. Although we had a great adventure riding through all kinds of different rugged terrain, we also had a really fun time socializing. So in terms of like whether I would recommend someone do a trip like this, I think absolutely. If you have an adventurous spirit, if you're in love with nature, if you want to get out to the mountains, if you want to clear your head, if you have an interest in animals and especially horses, then give something like this a try. Because what's different about the 6-day experience versus a shorter experience is you really have a chance to get fully immersed into this. Like, the first day that you're in the backcountry, you know, you're still kind of like caught up in your head thinking about the problems back home. But by the time you're out here for 4 or 5, 6 days, you really have a chance to almost like press the hard reset button on your life. And that's what I had the opportunity to do here. I had a chance to experience what I feel is the most beautiful national park in all of Canada, and to see it from the perspective of a horse in the backcountry in an area where very few people go, it just made it so much more special. And yeah, I just feel so much gratitude for this particular trip and for the experience with Banff Trail Riders. And to be honest, I hope I can do something again with them in the future. I had so much fun. And I hope you had fun watching this video. I have a feeling that you can sense the enthusiasm that I experienced on this trip. And if you're thinking of doing something like this the same, I say go for it. I am at best a reluctant adventurer. I'm not the type of person that goes skydiving. I don't dangle off of a cliff on a string. I'm just someone who enjoys being out in nature. I'm someone who enjoys the outdoors, and I do like to push my boundaries a little bit, but within a way that makes me still feel relatively comfortable. And this experience was just that. And yeah, that's that. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and stay tuned because we'll have more videos coming from Alberta and Canada in the near future. Ta-ta for now.